What is going on, Reject Nation? It's Greg Alba here.
And it's John Humphrey over here.
So today, we're finally going to review the movie that everyone's been so anticipating, Blade Runner 2049.
Oh boy.
But before we go into our review, we wanted to give a quick shout out to Stardust for partnering up with us on this review and several of our upcoming movie reviews, actually.
So we discussed Stardust in our Gerald's Game review, but in case you missed that, Stardust is a new social network that allows you to record your own reactions and share them with your friends.
That's right, Sir John. You can record up to 30 seconds of video on any film, TV show, or even a trailer, and we are really loving using this app, actually. We're really enjoying it.
So if you're a cinephile, you love movies, TV, basically anything we talk about on this channel, then you're probably gonna love Stardust as well.
This app allows you to keep track of all your favorites, set up watch lists, and there's even a way to mark your reactions for spoilers.
Because consideration's a nice thing.
Yeah, I wish there was a way we could have done that for YouTube before Blade Runner.
Yeah. And as part of our partnership with Stardust, if you send us your reaction in the week leading up to a certain movie, we'll let you know which one. You'll have a chance to have your reaction featured in one of our upcoming reviews, which is pretty cool.
So when you guys download the app, make sure to follow us first so they know we sent you. Yeah. And when we put out the call, make sure to send it to us via social media. Tag us at The Real Rejects, as well as the Stardust app, so you have a chance to be chosen.
And now without further ado, let's take a look at a few of those reactions before we hop into this.
Blade Runner 2049 made the impossible possible.
Have you guys ever watched a movie and just been so emotionally overwhelmed with just everything about it, the visuals, the acting, it was just so good.
And this is a visually stunning movie. I mean, it is beautiful and breathtaking.
You don't really need to see the original.
It builds this entire world beyond what we saw in the first Blade Runner.
But it feels familiar and it feels right.
Bravo.
Ryan Gosling is fantastic in this movie. Harrison Ford's great.
This was amazing, one of the best of the year.
Please go see it. I can score 5 out of 5. Go see it quick. It's great.
It got me. It got me so good.
Now you're part of the video.
See? Your thoughts are all right here.
Oh, now here's our thoughts. All right, Blade Runner 2049.
It's finally here.
Finally here. There's so much to talk about.
After so many months of advertising.
There's so much to talk about here, you know, from everything from the directing, the writing, the cinematography, to the entire cast, the score, the sound design. It's all fantastic.
Every department is top-notch.
Yeah, there's a quick review and a summary if you want to just click off right now and not hear any details about it. There's a quick review. Before going into this, I just want to say that our experiences were slightly affected, mine significantly more than his. We did a live stream before watching this movie that did affect my viewing experience of the film.
Spoiler alert!
Right when I started the live stream, sometimes we just do live streams on the way to like an event or a movie. Some might say this is my fault because of the way YouTube is, and maybe I should have been more aware of it.
Or maybe YouTube should be
Or maybe there should be some nicer subscribers who aren't such dicks about things. Some like major plot stuff was just spoiled for me by like 2 to 3 people. Knowing certain things that unfold, it does affect some viewing experience.
Oh yeah, you're looking out for it the whole time.
But that's, in a weird way, that also shows the strength of this film, because I still managed to be very engaged despite knowing the outcome of a lot of the mystery elements to this film. Because I didn't know plot or anything going into this film. All I knew was like Harrison Ford might show up a little bit late into the film. That's about as far as I knew. Watching this film, we saw it on IMAX. Thank God it was in 2D, first off. I'm so happy it was in 2D. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really enjoy the first Blade Runner movie. I've seen it maybe 3 times now. In the past 2 months, I've seen it twice. I think like it's really thought-provoking in certain areas when you ponder it, but I think in terms of plot and characters, I don't find it all that intriguing or all that exciting. I gotta tell you guys, I did not walk away from this film feeling that. I thought, yes, it's thought-provoking, it enhances all the themes, it gets more messages in there. At the same time though, it's plot, it's characters, it's overall storytelling. I was very engaged. The movie's like almost 3 hours long.
Yeah,
it's like right there.
2:45.
Yeah. I didn't really feel the length. And I know you felt it a lot more than I did.
I felt the length most of the time.
Really?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I wasn't sitting there going, this movie is dragging, but I was like, this movie takes its time.
It really does. Like, and that's the way Denis likes to make his movies too.
And that's the way the original one is. Because I'm sort of with you. It's like, that's, having seen the first Blade Runner a couple times now, I appreciate it more than I actually like love it or feel fondly for it.
Definitely way more on the I appreciate side.
Like, yeah, it's like, I get why some people love this, and The designs are amazing. The ideas are really cool. And I even like Harrison Ford just fine. This movie does carry some of that pacing over.
I think everyone can agree on with this film is the visuals are absolutely dynamite.
Totally.
You know, of course they're going to infuse CGI more into this sequel because 30 years later after the original. The CGI looks great and the visual effects designs are awesome. And they enhance the future setting. They do some things with the future that we haven't seen done before. Even like little things like certain characters eat food.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. There are a lot of great little details about what life is like and how the world works. And those are some of the nicest things about this.
Because there's so much attention to detail in the lifestyle of how people live in the future.
Yeah. It feels lived in.
It really feels like we got to do more world exploration. That's another credit to this film. You definitely go a lot further than LA. It's very intriguing throughout, and the cinematography is the other thing I think we all can agree on with this film. Yes, there are visuals in the production design and the lighting that is reminiscent of the original Blade Runner, but it's Roger Deakins, man. It's the Deeks.
The Deeks!
The Deeks, dude. Can't go wrong with the Deeks.
I mean, it's an amazingly shot and lit movie, too. It really makes you appreciate lighting, because there are some immensely striking things where scenes are lit all through slats, so you'll have these really stark ratios at play. You'll have these rooms that are all lit through the reflection of water that are amazing to look at. And some scenes, like, people aren't just lit head on like normal. You have a couple scenes where people are mostly lit from behind, and that really brings up the quality of the photography.
It makes it a much easier film to be engaged upon because of the visual aspect of visual designs, CGI, and cinematography, because this film is pretty slow in terms of what we're used to. I don't think it's slower than the first film. It still generally takes its time.
I just feel like the Blade Runner universe, if we want to call it that, is one that takes its time.
And because of the visual aesthetic, it makes it much easier to hop on board for a film that's nearly 3 hours long.
Yeah, well, and both of these movies have the benefit, and especially the new one has the benefit of, you know, even though there is enhanced CG and stuff like that, there are also a lot of sets, props, and vehicles and things that at least look like they were actually there and look like they bothered to build them.
This really looks like a strong combination of practical effects and visual effects, and it's all meshed super well. And
we'd love
to go into more details about other things, but I'm like, what? It would give away. Because there's some visual moments in this film that some stuff deals with sexuality that I don't want to give it away, but when it's there, you're like, this is a really impressive visual scene. Off of sex.
Conceptually impressive. I didn't expect that. And that's one of the things that I do feel quite happy about when it comes to this movie is looking at the trailer, there are some things that are deceptively revealing. There's so many other surprises that I just wasn't expecting to be exploring in this movie, and that's one of those things. You know, there are a number of moments that are both conceptually interesting, but also visually, the way they realize them is pretty fascinating too.
And I do appreciate how this film really is its own thing, but it is a continuation of where we left off with the last Blade Runner. The world's grown, it's changed, our point of views towards what replicants are. You get even more of that in this film. It's not just talked about through a few characters. You get to see how society in general perceives Blade Runners, perceives replicants, and it's fascinating.
The one thing that I really noticed myself loving during this movie was the score.
The score is fantastic.
I love the music.
The score is fantastic.
When we rewatched Blade Runner a couple days ago, I found myself looking up and going, oh, I forgot how much I liked the music.
Yeah.
And that music is different in a way, but you know, they are familiar, they are building on top of it because it's not that same like saxophone-esque synth line, but there are a lot of very striking, droning, foreboding synth sounds and stuff.
Absolutely, and the sound design too, especially if you go watch this in IMAX with the IMAX sound, it
fills
hits,
your chest cavity. Yeah, it does really swallow
beyond
you
it
up.
being loud, it's just really engrossing sound effects. It brings every little aspect of it even more to life.
Well, the IMAX enhancement for the actual scope of the screen I thought was really nice too. You know, I mean, it's not the entirety of the screen, but it was noticeably bigger and crisper, you know, than a lot of transcriptions I've seen.
And I gotta say, in terms of the directing of this movie, Denis did exactly what he said he was setting out to do. Honoring the original, making it a continuation, but also doing his best to make it his own thing. This really does feel like it's more Denis' film than him trying to make Blade Runner again.
Yeah. This feels like another director's vision, you know,
And
not just, oh, we're doing more Blade Runners.
Yeah.
You know?
It's definitely strongly linked to the first one. At the same time, though, its main plot is very separate. You can't give anything away.
Yeah, it's the thing is you gotta kind of dance around stuff, because it is, in a way, a detective story, as the first one sort of is.
It's still a mystery tale.
Yeah, and with that, all the plot points are important pieces of the puzzle, practically.
Yeah. It's a mystery tale, and it is an investigation story. A big difference I found with this one as compared to the first one was I was genuinely intrigued by the setup of what this investigation is Ryan Gosling's character Kay has to go on. The cast is fantastic in this film. One thing that I'm sure I'll get a lot of crap for saying is I don't really care for Deckard in the first Blade Runner movie. I felt for like the main character, I just didn't really find him all that interesting. Here, you just really can't reveal anything. When it comes to Ryan Gosling's character, the setup of who his character is, I found intriguing. I remember like right when they revealed it, I was like, huh.
Yeah, I
Didn't
wasn't
see that coming.
Yeah. The nature of that character surprised me sort of right off the bat. And that was another thing I was like, oh, cool, you didn't give that up in the trailer.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And we can't really reveal much. He does a lot of what we love about Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah, that 1,000-mile stare is
walks
slowly, full swing, baby.
A lot of staring, emotionally more of an empty fella in search of, you know, like having a...
Wanting to be whole.
Wanting to feel whole, you know, think Drive, Only God Forgives, Place Beyond the Pines.
He's good at playing lonely dudes in search of a purpose.
I was like, okay, that, right when you start seeing who his character is, you're like, yeah, he's perfectly cast. This is his typecast right here.
Yeah.
And he's great at it. He's fantastic at it. The subtle build of emotions that are brewing on the inside that he doesn't know how to express is a big part of a lot of Ryan Gosling characters, and I think he does an amazing job here with it.
Definitely.
And I was definitely way more connected with his character than I ever was with Deckard in the first Blade Runner. We get emotionally curious about his character. Jared Leto, it's kind of funny because it was a huge deal how he was in Suicide Squad and he's barely in the movie. It's similar in that particular sense.
This is the better version of that.
It's the much better version of that, because when Jared Leto's there, he's really damn good.
Yeah.
He's a great character, actually.
Yeah.
He's barely in the movie, but when he's there, he serves a purpose. Same thing with like characters like Dave Bautista. He's barely in the film as well, but when he's on screen, he's really utilized well. They're not a throwaway character. I feel like Denis is really good at casting and making sure if you get a big actor or a known actor, that they at least serve a strong, resonating performance.
They bring their mojo.
Yeah, it's not about quantity of screen time. It really is about quality of the screen time that they have there.
That's something that shines in this movie in a lot of places, because there's more than one character like that, where they're not necessarily in a ton of the movie, but when they are, you're locked on them. You're like, good that you're here. You know, you're distinct.
Ryan Gosling plays a cop. Robin Wright plays the head of the cop.
Yeah, she's like the head of the LAPD.
One of those positions. I don't know which one.
Oh, she's a lieutenant.
She's a lieutenant. She's really good in the film because she gets a chance to also be multi-layered. She's a character here where she gets to showcase yet again a strong female character with a layer of a lot of humanity underneath as well. She's a multi-layered character. Not a whole lot of screen time, but when she's there, she really serves a strong presence on the screen. And she has some pretty damn good scenes with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I liked her performance a lot in this, and I was surprised. I didn't really think much of her presence in the trailer, but as a part of the movie, I liked their back and forth a lot.
Yeah, there's an actress in there who I don't think I've seen before named Sylvia Hex. She's the girl in the trailer that you see screaming, "Where is he?" She gets more screen time than Jared Leto in the movie, and she's really good. She's a character, too, that you're very fascinated by. It's curious what's going on underneath her. What I loved about this film is everyone has something more going on underneath than what is just being presented about in dialogue and on the surface.
There are almost no incidental characters in the main action of this movie, and it's to the film's credit across the board that, you know, even characters that don't feel super important when you meet them, when they get back later, you're like, wow, you really thought this out. It makes sense. Like, good job.
This actress, who I've only seen in the movie Knock Knock,
I'm a good guy!
I don't recall seeing her character in the trailer. Maybe a brief moment here or there in the trailer. I think
as a big purple hologram, yes.
Yeah, it's super brief. She actually is in the movie for a pretty good amount of the film.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give it away, and even if I did, it wouldn't be like, why'd you spoil that? I don't think you'd get that feeling, but it is a nice thing in terms of what her character is and the purpose she serves in the film.
Yeah, she brought in a plot line I was not expecting.
I really cared about her. I cared about her.
Yeah, and that was one of the more interesting, like, world buildy things without going into too much detail. Her plot line involves a new aspect of the Blade Runner universe, at least in terms of the first movie, and I found that very engrossing, especially for how she plays off Ryan Gosling.
That was the biggest difference I felt with this film. My heart was connected, not to everyone in this film, but there's enough characters in there for me to feel emotionally drawn to, which I really appreciate in such an anticipated sci-fi spectacle like this. And then, of course, Harrison Ford, who, if you haven't seen any trailers, good for you. Because Denis already mentioned in an interview that he's not going to be in the film for as long as people probably think he is.
He's not the main character.
He's not.
Or the main supporting character.
No, he's not. But he's more than a cameo.
He's important, though, and he is more than a cameo.
Yeah, he's more than a cameo.
It's one of those things where, like, and I don't think this is to spoil too much, it's like, when you get the way the movie unfolds, you're like, oh, yeah, it'll probably take a while to see him, but when he gets here, you know, we probably won't just skip past him or anything like that. Like,
it's worth it. And if you love Deckard so much, because he comes in pretty late into this long-ass movie.
Yeah.
And I wasn't watching the movie going, where the hell is Harrison Ford? You know?
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking that.
I will give you that.
It was so late into the film, I thought he was going to show up on a mountain with a hoodie.
Yeah, that's something to the film's credit, because I think you were more engrossed than I was, and I never found myself getting impatient going, when are all those orange scenes coming up?
And that's the thing, like, you can't really blame the marketing too much, because you're like, well, yeah, I mean, you're doing a Blade Runner sequel after so many years, people are going to want to know for sure if Harrison Ford is in it, so you have to reveal some of the scenes, some moments of the scenes. He is important and he is necessary. It's not just like, we gotta throw in Harrison Ford in this area.
Yeah, they do bother to tie it in pretty intimately to the first movie in that context.
And I found this Deckard more intriguing than the Deckard we got in the first one. Weirdly, I think he gets a little more to do.
He's lived more life by this time, and as the opening title card of the movie tells you, a lot has happened since the last time we saw him. So yeah, when he finally shows up, there is a new sense of dimension to Deckard that comes partly from age, but also partly from the context we have gathered over this whole movie.
His character gets to be a lot more emotional too.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated, because that causes me to care more about who Deckard is and what he's been through. And yes, like, if you watch any of the interviews with Gosling and Ford, they're always having a great time together. Their chemistry in interviews is not the same thing in this movie.
No.
It's very serious. They work well with each other.
They
do play off each other really well. And also, the script. I thought this script was so well done. I thought from beginning to end, it is a movie that comes completely full circle by the end of the film. The plot was intriguing. The mystery element was really even though I had shit spoiled for me, I was still like, maybe they were lying. Maybe it was a joke, because that's how strong this script was. I love the way all the characters are written. I love the way the mystery element was.
My only thing, honestly, after the experience of watching it, was just, I thought everything was terrific for the most part. It just left me cold, I guess. At least right now. Like, I'm appreciating it more now that we're talking about it. It's a movie you have to digest. Yeah, it's like we are literally shooting this as we've gotten back from watching it. So, you know, this isn't my favorite time to talk about a movie like this that needs time to sink into your brain. I never got fully swept up in it. Like, I was always aware I was kind of watching this movie happen.
You see, I would occasionally not be swept up in it, because I would be distracted by my own angry feelings of having shit spoiled for me moments before watching this movie.
It could also be the hype machine, because sometimes, and we talked about this earlier, like, sometimes, you know, a couple times a year there'll be a movie that's such a big deal that the first time I watch it, it doesn't even feel like I actually watched it. It feels like some kind of dream I had. I had trouble connecting to it. I was always impressed by stuff, and I connected to certain elements of it. Like, you know, I thought Ryan Gosling was terrific, and I liked that character a lot, and I could kind of resonate with that character. But there's just something that kept me at an arm's distance for really, you know, plugging in and enjoying it.
I can understand that, actually. Because there's a lot going on in this movie. For a film that's like also takes its time with its pacing, there's still plenty to be absorbing, and it can be hard to really see how you feel because a lot of it requires intellectual thoughts and processing information of what's going on. This seems like the kind of movie that I might enjoy more on a rewatch. I feel like my tongue just wants to say I love it, and not just because everyone else is saying it. I genuinely do feel like there's enough in there for me to be like, I love the movie.
If you love it, I would be psyched for you. And if somebody tells me they're gonna see it, I would be like, yeah, go see it. But I'm not about to grab somebody and be like, you gotta see Blade Runner 2049. Like, that's...
Really?
Well, because the enthusiasm isn't there.
Yeah.
For me right this minute, anyway. You know, my enthusiasm would be like, no, people need to know. And it's weird, because, like, this movie specifically was and wasn't what I was expecting kind of at the same time. That's the only complaint I could really levy against it. There's nothing else that stands out.
Yeah.
You know?
Bottom line, everything on a technical scale is really strong in this film. And I did thoroughly enjoy it from beginning to end more than the first Blade Runner. Yeah. And I definitely say go, and if you can, go watch it at a real IMAX screen because it's not fully blown up in IMAX format.
They did enhance it.
They did enhance it enough where it takes up more of the screen and
and you get that clarity,
quality, man. All right, guys, well, that's our review for Blade Runner 2049.
Woo!
Did you see Blade Runner 2049? Did you like it? Did you like it more than the last Blade Runner? Do you think the first Blade Runner is just a little bit overrated? Come on. And
seems to be the popular opinion.
Seems to be the popular opinion, John. Seems to be the... I remember saying that to you like not long ago. Blade Runner went from failure to cult hit to this is one of the best sci-fi movies ever, and I think the next phase is it's overrated, you know? Well, guys, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Please click that notification bell, because subscribe buttons don't really work. That's John Humphrey on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at the Greg Alba. You can check out our Patreon. Become a Patrona Jack today. It's worth it, peeps.
And follow us on Stardust. Follow us first. You know what to do.